Good evening all. Hopefully we should be live now for tonight's session, Q&A, all about the Special Constabulary here at West Mercia Police. My name is Nathan Pawley. I'm the Citizens in Policing Coordinator for Operational Volunteers here at West Mercia Police, and one of the areas I look after is the Special Constabulary and all our volunteer police officers. The other half of my portfolio, I look after the police cadets, the youngsters that join us for our cadet programme. In addition to my paid role, I'm also a Special Constable here at West Mercia, which I've done for 14 years over the last 25-year period. Tonight I'm joined by my colleague Leon.
Good evening, my name's Leon. I've been a Special Constable for just over 3 years now with West Mercia.
And what we're going to do during the next hour is we're going to take questions in relation to anything you'd like to ask us about being a Special Constable here within force. We'll also answer some questions that we've had into us prior to today, and we'll also give you a bit of an overview of what being a Special Constable is, how you can apply, and things like the training and the processes, and some of the things that you will get to do and what we will require you to go and deal with once you do get through the process and join us. So shall we kick off by going through the application stage?
Yeah.
And just telling people what to do. So what we'd like you to do, if you're interested after hopefully watching this Q&A and you'd like to apply, the easiest way to apply is going on to the West Mercia Police website, and under our careers section you will see an icon for Special Constabulary. You click on there and you can submit your application form. That's the first part of the process. As you go through the process, each area will get ticked off and you'll move all the way through until you get a formal offer from us. So once you've submitted the application, the next thing we will take a look at your initial form, and then you'll be sent 2 online assessments to complete. The first one's a situation judgment test, and the other one's the behaviours test. Once those two tests are complete, then we will then invite you for a force interview. Do you want to talk through the interview, just the general thing that we will do?
Yeah, it's a few years since I've done the interview myself, but yeah, there's a few different elements to it.
Usually about 4 questions.
Trying to think back to exactly what it involved again.
Yeah, so about 4 questions, and the interviews are done by our trained staff here, and once you've done that process, we will then update you with the result, and then going through that, once you've passed the interview, there's no assessment centre or any other process. It's just the 2 online tests and it's the interview. So once you've passed that, you then go through to what we call our pre-employment checks. So the pre-employment checks would include you attending force headquarters here at Hinley and running level 5.4 on a bleep test. Lasts about 4 minutes, and it's 35 shuttles to complete the bleep test. Once you've passed that, you will go and have your uniform fitted. You will then do a medical questionnaire that you submit, and you will get an appointment with our occupational health department, who will review that form and go through that with you. And then the last little section is biometric tests, where we take your fingerprint and DNA to hold on our database. This is something that we do for all police officers and special constables that join all forces across the country. So once all those formal stages are complete, we will then give you a formal offer, and you'll be given a training schedule, and you will wait for your course to start, and then you'll join the next course that is taking place. We roughly do 2 courses a year, one in the October and one in the February, We're planning to do those for the next 12, 18 months. So we've got plenty of training courses coming up. So we will be constantly recruiting now for the next 12 to 18 months at least. So please, if you like what you hear tonight and you're really interested, get those applications in, because the process can take 4 to 6 months depending on when you apply and when the next course is. If you apply tonight, we'll be looking for your applications to be completed and you to start training in October. So October 2024 will be the next course. We will be looking for any new applications received over the next couple of months.
I think we've had our first question in, which is from Ben. Thanks, Ben. Can somebody with asthma join? So everybody has a medical assessment when they join, but subjects, I believe, to passing the bleep test, which is, as Nathan said, was a level of 5.4, then I believe you'd be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben, what you do when you fill your application in, as you get through to the medical section, that information will go to the force doctor. They will look at anything that you've disclosed, and they will have a chat with you to see, is your condition medicated? Is it something that you can, that doesn't affect your everyday life? So all those aspects will be talked through, and that should not affect you applying to join us at all. So one of the other questions that we've had earlier submitted, I live outside the area, can I apply? Simple answer, yes you can.
Yeah, in addition to that as well, we pay travel expenses as well, don't we? So if you live outside the force area, the travel expenses will kick in as soon as you cross over into the West Mercia region, into Shropshire, Herefordshire or Worcestershire. Yeah,
and that's quite a competitive rate for your travelling. And your travelling literally is we pay that for every single time you come to do any sort of duty as a special constable, whether that be attending any sort of training, whether that be coming to do any operation, any duty, or helping us with our recruitment events. We have special constables, current ones that come and do interviews for us. We will train them to come and assist with the force interviews. So yeah, you would never ever be out of pocket for any sort of travelling expenses.
Next question that we've received is, what is the maximum age to become a special? It isn't limited. It is just based on fitness. As long as you're fit and healthy and able to pass the bleep test up to the level of 5.4, there's absolutely no issues at all. We have lots of people that have joined us after doing a full career in something else and have retired and then come to join as a special to do something in their spare time.
The question we have is, how long is training and where does it take place? So the current training is taken, so the last course that we did that are still in training at this time. The course length was 15 weeks. That's 15 weeks. And those training sessions take place on alternate weekends and 2 nights in the week. I think at the moment they're Tuesday and Thursdays and every other Saturday and Sunday. Some of that training has been done online. Some of that training has been done face-to-face. The majority will always be done face-to-face due to the nature of the training that we give you. A lot is scenario-based, hands-on physical skills. So 15 weeks, and we currently are using 2 different locations to do the training. So here down at Hinlip Hall, we would class as the south of the force. So anyone that's looking to go to policing Worcester, Herefordshire or North Worcester, areas like Kidderminster, Bromsgrove, Redditch, you would come and do your training here at Hinlip Hall. And anybody that's looking to policing the north area of the force, such as Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin, you would go to Wellington Police Station, and that's where you would do your training. Again, that's 15 weeks at Wellington and Hinlip.
Next question is from Jonathan, and it says, would being a qualified lawyer be an advantage when applying? I know there are some professions where there could potentially be a conflict of interest. So, in terms of being a lawyer, if it's in criminal law,
Yeah, we've had a lawyer before that's joined us, and yeah, they found it really good practice, and not only the what they got out of it, what they were able to, the advice they were able to offer their colleagues whilst working with them was really good. Their understanding of their criminal law was brilliant. So yeah, I think it's a really good profession to come and join us.
is there no conflict of interest
No,
in doing
no
that?
conflict of interest as a lawyer.
I know in some professions, like being a prison officer or something like that, I think that
Yeah,
potentially could.
usually any profession that tends to be an issue is anything that you've got some sort of power attached to your role. Some roles within the policing, so if you're currently a police community support officer, where you're given a bunch of powers, you wouldn't be able to be a special constable and do the PCSO role at the same time. I had a question, what does a typical shift look like? Do you want to give us an example of what you would do, Leon?
I think from a personal point of view, one of the things I enjoy most is that there isn't such a thing as a typical shift because it varies so much. Having said that, there are some kind of routines that we go through. Typically, I might work with the response team and initially go through some of the briefing actions, maybe looking at the intelligence reports, looking at where there's a prolific drug driver or drink driver that I need to try and track down, and then just backing up on any response jobs that come in. And they could be literally anything. They could be dealing with public order or assault or domestics or absolutely anything at all.
Our special constables get a choice. Once they finish their training and they've gone through what we say is like their probation period, and they get their portfolio signed off, we give them a choice of which areas they would like to go and work. And there's two main areas, and that's, as Leon said, that's response policing. That's being at the end of your radio, answering calls from the public on 101 different types of things that come in on a daily basis. So that's response policing. The other area that we do a lot of work in is with the safer neighbourhood teams. And that's where teams that work across the force, they work in a specific area in the local community. And those local officers will have special constables attached to their teams. And the special constables will get a real good rapport of the area. They know the types of problems that they have in their area, and they go and help and deal with things that are happening in the area. You might get some sort of antisocial behaviour that keeps occurring in a local park. For example, our special constables will assist the local team in tackling that. They might have a problem with drugs, so our special constables will go along and they would help enforce and take part in drug warrants and raids, where we go, once we've obtained a warrant from a court, we will go into a property and the special constables will help with the searching, they will help with the arrest of the individuals, and they will also transport prisoners to custody blocks and do those processes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge amount of variety, lots of support with specialist operations as well and events as well.
Yeah.
I think before I joined, I thought it was more about kind of foot patrol and just doing fates and that sort of thing, but it isn't like that at all, is it? It is kind of just filling in and giving additional resource to the frontline regular officers.
And we don't tend, when we're on duty, we don't tend to drive around in big groups on a van, just all in the same vehicle. It's very much that we will work with another officer or another special constable, and we will actually be given some sort of task to go out and do whilst we're waiting for other calls to come in. So when we're waiting for response type calls to come in and respond to emergencies, we'll go out and we would have a plan of where we go out, what we do, which areas we will go and give some attention to, it may be that we just put our hats on, go for a walk in the local area just to give some high visibility patrols and just engage with the community, go and speak to people, go and find out what's going on in the local area. People come and give us information, intelligence, and just showing our presence. We do things like school visits. We speak to younger people. We go and give advice at career events, to local colleges about the role of special constable, because again, it's really good for us to get the word out about what we do. Special constables have been going on for years and years, but the role is so developed over this time. It's really advanced to what it typically was many years ago.
So we have got another question here from Luke. Can somebody with a disability join?
Again, I would say anybody with a disability can apply to become a special constable. Every single person's individual disabilities will be assessed with the force medical officer. Again, it will just depend on what those what that specific disability was, depending on whether that the force occupational health department would be happy. We obviously have a duty of care to all of our staff to make sure that their safety is paramount, one being on duty. We are on the front line. We do respond to absolutely everything. We wear exactly the same uniform as our regular colleagues. So yeah, there is absolutely nothing stopping you applying with a disability, and they will all be individually looked at on their own merit. So please, I really hope that you will put your application in.
Next question is from Ants, and it says, will being a special help me become a regular officer? Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good route in for people that are interested in becoming a regular officer. Obviously, we want some people that will remain special constables for several years as well, but I know from my cohort, I think the majority ended up becoming special constables either with West Mercia or with neighbouring forces as well. It's a really good way to get some insight and to find out if you like it before you actually make a formal application to do it full time.
Yeah, and what tends to happen as well with the special constables that go on to be regular officers, what they really like doing in turn is when the special constable comes on duty and gives up their time to come and help that team, the regular officers that used to be special constables really appreciate those volunteers coming on to to boost those numbers and give them a hand, because they know what it's like to give up their own time to come and do it. So absolutely, yes, it will definitely help if you're looking at a career in the future. Being a special constable is a huge stepping stone. You will obviously do some basic training. You wouldn't do the full training that a regular officer has to complete, but you have to do a certain amount to get to a required level before you can go operational as a special constable, and you have to pass that 15-week course. But yeah, it will put you in real good stead.
Cool. Next question is from Sue. Currently on specials training, really enjoying it and wished I'd done it years ago. That's fantastic to hear from Sue. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Sue. Yeah, it's great to hear that you're enjoying that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the training as well. I thought it was fantastic, really well delivered. How many hours a week or a month do I need to do? So per month, it's 16 hours as a minimum, so I think that comes to 192 per year. Yep. Lots of people choose to do a lot more than that because they enjoy it so much, but that's the minimum threshold.
And what we do with those 16 hours a month, we look at those as an average over the year. So it may be if you've got family commitments, or if you've got work commitments, or you're going away on holiday on a specific month, and you struggle to get your 16 hours in for that 1 month, that's not a problem. On other months, you will naturally do more hours. So yeah, it just depends on your home work-life balance for what you're able to do at any point. But yeah, 16 hours a month on an average over a year, 192 hours. How many hours do you tend to do a month? Do we on as
I
a
think on average about 60 or 70. I think last year was about 800 hours. So yeah,
wow,
just shows I am enjoying it a lot. I'm
wow,
getting a lot out of it as well.
brilliant. Every shift, like we said earlier, every shift is completely different, completely random. You never know what you're going to do. Can you tell us an example of a shift that really sticks in your mind, or one that was really
Yeah,
unexpected? You got to
there's
say really
there's a
unexpected.
yeah a huge amount of variety. One of the other things I do in my spare time is volunteer with West Mercia Search and Rescue. So I've got a keen interest in assisting with missing person jobs.
Right.
So some of the best shifts I've had of where we've been able to track down somebody that's gone missing quickly before they've come to harm. There's one in particular where an elderly gentleman with Alzheimer's had wandered off from his home address, and we were given details pretty quickly and able to find him near some woodland and take him back to his home address nice and safely. So not particularly kind of out of the ordinary, but just it's very satisfying when things like that happen and we're able to kind of keep people safe.
And that's quite nice where sometimes that side of policing is not always seen as much. You think when our police officers were always dealing with say nastier types of incidents and things, being able to go and find somebody who's obviously clearly needed some medical attention, who was really vulnerable, you as a volunteer using your skills that you've brought in from maybe your day job or your other volunteering role,
Yeah.
just proves, say, citizens in policing, the area that I work within, for us is all about bringing in members of the public to come and volunteer and use their skills that they have in some sort of, in their public life, their work life, and where they can add value to policing.
That's a really good point you just made actually about the types of shifts that we deal with. And I think before I joined, I thought there'd be a lot more conflict in all of the shifts and kind of having to deal with fights all of the time. But it isn't like that. A lot of it
No.
is problem solving and dealing with a huge variety of different things. So it is interesting.
Next one says, do you accept transferees? Yes, we do. We're really pleased to accept people who would like to transfer to us from another force, who are current serving officers. We've had quite a few over the years, usually where people relocate or move house. Simple process that we have: if you submit your application form online, so fill in the standard application, but once you've done that, give the recruitment team a ring on 101, ask for the recruitment team at West Mercia, explain that you're a transferee and you're transferring and you've submitted an application. They will then put you in touch with me and I will have a conversation and an interview with you, and then I will move you to just the pre-employment checks. So there's no formal assessment for transferees. There's just an interview with myself and the citizens and policing team, and then the pre-employment checks. So yeah, if you're interested, yeah, we're more than welcome to have you. So please get in contact with us.
Next question we have is, what's the difference between a special constable and a police constable? So both are police officers. Special constables aren't paid, so it's just a voluntary role. There are differences, I guess, further down the line with what we can do operationally. We go to the same jobs, but we wouldn't do the case files and kind of background paperwork to the same extent or at all in some cases compared to regular police officers. And we wouldn't do interviews. We go into them sometimes to support, but we wouldn't lead an interview with somebody after they've been arrested. I think those are the main things.
Yeah, exactly the same uniform, exactly the same personal protective kit, handcuffs, baton, parva. So, yeah, to look at a special constable and look at a regular officer, you wouldn't naturally know the difference at all when you were to come across two out and about. But yeah, that training, the initial training's different. There's obviously no payment, just expenses for the volunteers. So yeah, thank you, really good question. Next question. I work full time and I'm a parent. Can I fit the hours around my work and home life?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the first few months, whilst you're going through training, things are a little bit more rigid, and it's a little bit more effort to get through those. But then once you join, and certainly once you become independent, there's a lot more flexibility about when you do your hours, and you absolutely can work it around your home life.
Yeah, the training is, as Leon said, is the hardest commitment. Those 15 weeks are probably the real most intense bit, because we need to make sure that when we let you go operationally, with your first shift, with our regular colleagues, once you've passed that course, that you're competent and we've given you the adequate training. So those sessions are pretty much, we need to make sure that you can make all of those sessions within our timetable. We give the timetables out well in advance. We can give those timetables out now of what the October course looks like, so you can plan months in advance for the sessions, and you know which weekends that you would need to be available and which evenings. But once you've done that, yeah, the training, the refresher training that you do, that can be, you can dictate which days you come and do your refresher training. So again, that you can definitely work that around your home and family life. We come in as volunteers for different shifts, so some people prefer to work early shifts, some prefer to come and work after work of an evening, and some will even come and do night shifts all the way through till the next morning. So yeah, whatever suits you. We police 24 hours a day, so you can completely choose which hours you want to do. Another question we've had, why did you join as a special? Want to go first?
Yeah, sure. It kind of the role interests me, and I want to do something that's very different to my day job. I work for a water company, and for most of the time I've been with the company, it's kind of been office based, and I want to do something a little bit different, really. So yeah, just kind of be able to help people and see a different side of life, really, and see some exciting things as well. We have some very exciting shifts, and we're very lucky with the training we go through as well, with ongoing training in terms of response driver courses and things like that as well. So I get a lot out of it as well, personally.
Yeah, I think, why did I join? I started working here at West Mercia Police when I was 17. So as soon as I got to 18, I had no intention of being a full-time police officer, something that just didn't interest me, but I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to have some skills that would help me in my day job. So that's why I initially did it back in the 90s. I think I did it for 7 years in total the first time round, and then had about 12 years where I didn't do it due to like my family commitments, and then realised that I really enjoyed that, and I came back, rejoined, and again I've done for the last nearly 8 years again for the second time. So really good. I would encourage anyone that wants a real challenge, that really wants to put themselves out there and really wants to make a difference, and learn some amazing skills that will really help you in your normal day-to-day life and work, please really consider applying. And if you want further information, get in touch with us. If you want me to have a conversation, or Leon or any of our colleagues to have a one-to-one conversation with us, please again consider making contact with us, and we will always do that.
Cool. Okay, so if you've got any other questions, just send them across to us, and we'll endeavour to do our best to answer them.
Yeah.
In terms of further information, the website is westmerciapolice.uk/careers for the application form, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a specific page all about the Special Constabulary, that you'll find some information. You'll find what benefits that we have. Often people say, oh, I've got my qualifications, I haven't got enough qualifications to apply. There are no current qualifications needed to apply to be a special constable. So where you need certain ones to be a regular police officer, they don't apply. So don't forget, you don't worry if you haven't got specific educational qualifications. You may have a lot more qualities from your everyday life that you can bring to this role rather than just a qualification from an education. So please submit those applications.
We've received a question asking, can I choose where I wish to be based? As far as I'm aware, you can.
Absolutely.
Some people prefer to be a special constable in their own community. Others prefer to do it in a different area as well. So it's entirely your choice, isn't it? I think, do we need to balance numbers sometimes a little bit as well in terms of different local policing authorities?
Yeah, we tend to station the new special constables at our main stations. They tend to be Worcester, Hereford, Bromsgrove, Redditch, Telford and
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury, because the larger stations have more officers working, so we know that when you come on duty, we're able to crew you up with either a regular officer or a special constable. As you get more experience, you may want to work at one of our local smaller stations where there's a smaller team. But then if you've achieved your independent status, which means that you can go and work out on your own if needed, working at a smaller station, then if you're happy to work on your own, or you can work on your own, then that won't cause you any issues. So yeah, absolutely.
Are there some opportunities to specialise? You've done some specialist courses recently, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got both. There's some specialist courses that we can do, and there are also some specialist postings that we can do. So Leon's a response driver. So Leon's done a 3-week national accredited response driving course by our in-house driving team. Can you tell us the sort of things that you did on your driving course, Leon?
Yeah, so we've got a fantastic driving school within West Mercia, and I enjoyed the driving course so much. And to start off with, it was teaching a little bit about how to sort of drive well, and then kind of bringing in the elements of using blue lights and sirens to kind of to be safe, really. That's the kind of underlying thing, really, kind of arriving at every job safely and driving well. But yeah, fantastic course. Another one you've done recently is methods of entry, isn't it?
Yeah, there are 11 special constables, including myself in West Mercia, that are current method of entry trained, which means we can effectively gain entry via doors, various different methods that we're taught. This is a real useful skill, not just for when you're doing the things like drugs warrants or when we're looking for wanted people, but also when we have calls for concern for welfares. Very often if somebody's fallen at home or we haven't heard from somebody and we have to break into somebody's house for their own safety. Sometimes if a regular officer's not available or committed, rather than wait a prolonged period of time, if we have to get another officer from another area that's trained or one of our other specialist officers to come along, some of our special constables have now done that course. That's a 1-day course, and we use, say, various methods, including what we call the big red key, our enforcer, to use on certain types of doors. So that's one of the courses that we specialise in. Majority of us are stinger trained, so we can assist when our colleagues are dealing with a pursuit. Although these are few and far between, it gives us the skills to be able to utilise that. We have quite a rural force, so the more of our staff that have access to stingers and that can use them to assist are always good.
Yeah. Could we talk about the specialist roles? I think that was the kind of...
Yep.
So there's quite a few different areas that people are working in now.
Yeah, we have some of our special constables that are attached to our roads policing team. So we're just looking to increase those numbers. So we've just done a selection process where we'll be adding to those numbers. So we'll in fact have 6 officers that will work with the roads policing team over the next couple of months. And they obviously specialise in dealing with serious and fatal collisions on our road networks. They will also target offenders that are using stolen vehicles, cloned vehicles, things like that. And they will do lots of enforcement, what we call our Fatal Five, things like speed enforcement, seatbelt enforcement, enforcement with mobile phone usage whilst driving, things like that. So anything that will keep our roads safe. We also have one special constable that's currently working in one of our CID departments. So yeah, there's always means to specialise, and I'm always looking for departments that are looking for special constables to come and join them, where some of our officers can bring additional skills from their workplace that actually some of our specialist areas may want to use those skills. So yeah, if you've got a specific skill that you think can be utilised once you finish your training, yeah, we're more than happy to have that conversation and look if we can put you into a specialism.
I think we've got two that have just joined our cybercrime team recently as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, we've definitely we're looking to get them started.
Okay, nice.
So next question: Will I be on my own or paired up with another special or police officer? So yeah, you would definitely be paired up with either a regular colleague or a special constable once you have finished your training. So your 15 weeks training, once that's completed, you will arrive at the station that you've either chosen to work or we've appointed to you. And yeah, until you've completed a portfolio, you will always be double crewed. So every job you go to, you will always have that support of that other regular paid police officer or a special constable that is experienced and has achieved that independent patrol status.
Next question is from Jonathan. If a special has the same powers of arrest as a police constable, why is there a different qualification standard? Good question.
Great question. I think what we're looking for when we bring in members of the public, we're looking, in your special constable role, we're looking for you to help us add additional support to policing. We're not asking you to replace somebody that's either left or stand in as another regular officer. You're not there to replace somebody, you're there to add your skills that you bring along. I think that's why those standards are slightly different. Don't get me wrong, you need to go through a rigorous process of both the interview, the fitness, the medical. One area that I didn't cover on the initial bit was our vetting. You need to be vetted to the same level as all other police officers in the country. So you need to really meet those high standards. So yeah, qualifications aside, it's all about you coming in and giving your time up and adding value to policing.
Next question is, how long is the training and when is it? Evenings and weekends? I know when I did it, it was a mix. It was, I think, every other weekend, and then either 2 evenings 1 week, and when we had, it mixed around. So
yeah, the current course that are training at the moment, they're training every Tuesday and Thursday night, and they're doing alternate weekends. There are some gaps on some weekends that they don't come in every other weekend. It just depends on the program. There are 3 weekends that are absolutely crucial and is an area that you have to hit 100%, and that's all about what we call our PPST training, and that's our public and police safety training. That's where our safety team, our PPST team, will teach you how to use your handcuffs, how to use your baton, how to deal with conflict, how to keep yourself and keep the public safe when you're on duty. And that training is over 3 weekends and is 6 full days. That training also, you have to do a refresher. Currently it's a 1-day refresher every single year. You start off with a bleep test and then you do a full day's training. After April, that will be 2 days a year that you would have to come back in and do that refresher training. And just to reiterate the training locations, currently training at simultaneously Hinlip headquarters in Worcester and Wellington Police Station up in Telford.
Next question is from Wayne, who was a special constable from 1987 to 2000. Wayne said he's 58 years old now, and he says, am I too old? Definitely not in terms of being too old. As long as you're fit and healthy, that would be absolutely fine. Second part's probably for you to answer, Nathan, which is about, would I have to go through the whole recruitment process again?
Thanks, Wayne. Yeah, we'd be really interested to hear from you. Age-wise, we have one of our special constables, 67 currently, still really active, does so many hours. So age, yeah, don't worry about the age whatsoever. You would have to do the full process, but obviously there are certain aspects that you will hopefully find a lot of easier. There may be certain aspects of the 15-week training course that you will go over that you will remember from before. I think you said in 2000 you were last in, so 23 years ago, a lot has changed in the last 23 years ago. You would need to do all of the sessions, but I can guarantee you will definitely enjoy that, and you will probably be able to assist other members of that course with your prior knowledge. So yeah, get in touch. I said if you want to have a discussion with me, Wayne, get in touch with us, and I'm more than happy to give you a call back to discuss that.
Is it worth mentioning ESP, Employer Supported Policing, as well? So the company I work for gives me additional paid leave each year. I get 10 extra days per year to come and volunteer as a special constable. Hundreds, or probably thousands of companies in the UK do a similar thing. The number of days that they offer does tend to vary a little bit. Some offer like 1 or 2 days. I think my company's at fairly average. And then some do even more, don't they, like 20 days or more? Yeah,
I will work with any company in the UK that you work for to see if I can assist any of our special constables obtain time off work for you to come on duty as a special constable. There are many benefits for the individual and the company you work for to sign up and become an ESP employer. The company obviously get a trained special constable working for their organisation. That alone, you going into your company, being able to deal with conflict, being able to have power of arrest if you ever had to deal with anything in your company or
thankfully I haven't had to do that in my company, but yeah,
but you come with a lot of skills. You're first aid trained, so that you can take into the company. The company itself can be seen as a responsible company in the community. If they give you time off to go and do a shift a month, for example, that tends to be the general rule of thumb that we try and get them to sign up for. They then are giving something back to the company, the community, that their company is based in. We have some big companies throughout the country, things like BA Airline, British Airline, they're signed up as an ESP company. Companies, trying to think of some others, like Severn Trent is another company. We have smaller independent companies that I've worked with, that local councils, people who work in hospitals have been able to get them some time off from work.
Lots of supermarkets do. I think Sainsbury's are signed up. There's literally like hundreds and thousands of companies, aren't there, on the list?
Yeah, we're working with Amazon currently. That's a big company that employ a lot of people. And what we then try and do, if we can work with your company to try and get your company signed up, we will go into your company, or I will go into your company with members of our citizens and policing team. And we will go in and see if we can recruit any other volunteers, not just special constables. At West Mercia, if you were interested in different elements of volunteering, we have what we call non-operational volunteer roles, police support volunteers. So again, if you wanted to volunteer but you didn't want to be on the front line as a police officer, considering having a look at our vacancies page in our careers page on there.
Another question here, which is somebody saying they're thinking of joining, but they're worried about the fitness test. What is involved? It is just a case of passing the bleep test, isn't it?
Yeah.
Achieving a standard of 5.4, which isn't that high at all. Yeah, it's certainly achievable for most people, isn't it?
Yeah, it's less than four minutes shuttles in our sports halls. So level 5.4 is the minimum requirement. And what that's about? That is about you being safe to complete the officer safety training after you've completed the bleep test. So the bleep test isn't there for you to see how fast you can run, for you to be seen to be running after individuals when you're on duty. It's not about that at all. It's us assessing, making sure that when your heart rate is increased after you've done the bleep test, you can then go on and safely complete your officer safety training. So yeah, there are, if you have a look on YouTube, there's a couple of forces that have actually put videos of the police bleep test on there, and you can gauge how quick that is. Again, if anyone was really considering, or they've got their application in but they're concerned, make contact with me. I can always see if we can run a session for you to come and have a look. There are various apps you can download for free that will give you the police bleep test, that often people will go and practice at home in things like a car park of an evening, or if you can find an area of a road that's not used, and you can use with your phone and the app just to practice.
That's exactly what I did before I joined. I wanted to make sure that I didn't embarrass myself and could run to that level, so I marked out an area of 15 metres and used one of the apps that you mentioned. And yeah, it was no problem at all.
There's no other sort of strength test or anything like that we require. So just to remind, how can you apply? So if you're interested after listening to Leon and myself tonight, go onto the website, West Mercia Police's Force website. Under the Careers tab, have a look under there, and you will see the Special Constabulary icon. If you click in there, that will give you a load of information about the role. Then right at the bottom, you will be able to apply. You set yourself a bit of an account up. You fill out the initial online form, and then it will take you through the process.
So we've got a question from Linda. Do special constables have to pay for their own boots? So I think there's a contribution, isn't there? It was £100 towards the boots. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you don't have, special constables are not required to pay for any part of their uniform, including boots. So we will give you an allowance. It's either £50 a year or £100 every 2 years for a pair of boots, and we allow you to go out and purchase those boots and we will give you that allowance up to that amount of money. Some people go over and buy really expensive boots.
Yeah.
Some people will get a pair within the allowance. Again, because we will give you that allowance every year or every 2 years, you will never be out of pocket for new boots. So thank you, Linda. A great question that you won't have to worry about buying boots. Next question, is there any support in place for specials that come across difficult incidents? Simple answer, yes, there are. Within Force, we have a whole range of support networks available to us that are available to every single employee within the Force. Whether you're a staff member, whether you're a paid police officer, a special constable or a volunteer, you have the same access to our occupational health, our welfare departments. We also have support networks for different areas as well, and you can reach out and make contact with them, or reach out to me and I will put you in contact with them. If you have to attend what we call a critical incident, or something that's really affected you, whether that be a fatal road traffic collision, or you've gone to a sudden death of a person through non-natural causes. These are our type of things that we can deal with, and we both have probably been to. Yes, the sergeant on the shift will do that initial debrief with you after the incident, but then what the force will put on for any critical incident that our officers and our specials attend, we will put on what we call a critical incident debrief session that you, as the volunteer who attended that incident, will be invited to and supported. So yes, simple answer to that question.
Next question is, how long is my commitment as a special? From my cohort, quite a few people joined as regular officers within the first few years, but I presume you want people to stay enrolled for a few years to get. It costs a lot to train people, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does cost a lot of money to train our staff, our volunteer police officers, because the training is very good. The uniform that we give you is very good. It's a standard uniform. We don't give you anything different to our regular colleagues get. And we're looking for people who obviously have got an interest in policing and may want to go on to other roles within policing in the future, but also those that we will call our career special constables. Our longest serving special constable is about to achieve 30 years service next week. So we have staff that joined in 2 months ago to one individual that has done nearly 30 years. So yeah, huge array of service.
Cool. So applications are open. So visit the website, which is westmerciapolice.uk/careers. And thank you very much for joining us this evening and asking such fantastic questions.
Yeah, thank you. Just please get in touch with us. If there's anything we haven't covered, any further questions you want, put it in the comments and our team will get back to you with an answer to all of those questions. We look forward to you applying. If you've got any further questions for me personally or our team that deal with volunteers, please get in touch and I'll get back to you all.
Thanks very much. Good night.
Thank you.